Yeah, I'm at the Alumni House where people registered in Washington County students registered in Washington County can vote. Arkansas law requires the top candidate to have 40% of the vote and be 20% above the second place. This sets up a runoff election between Molly Ron and Mayor Lionel Jordan. All where you can see the Swing Dance Club intermediate time has just started.
Jefferson launches deep enough into the end zone, and it's batted down. Game over. The Bulldogs storm into Fayetteville on homecoming weekend and spoil the party.
The 2023 Razorback season,
this one is a thumbs down as far as Arkansas goes.
Is not going the way that many of us had hoped.
We're frustrated. It's visible. You can see it.
It almost feels like a lost cause.
There's going to be a lot for Sam Pittman to talk about with his offensive staff and his offensive players after this game.
With 4 games left to play,
the life was out of the building.
The Hogs are seeing ghosts.
It's almost like a bum, 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 bum.
And for some,
we've lost our spirit.
The season's already over.
The big news on the Hill has been the firing of offensive coordinator Dan Enos.
And yesterday's loss to Mississippi State was just the final blow to Dan Enos' short tenure at Arkansas.
That one's picked off. This will be an Arkansas touchdown.
No, the results on the field have not been great. It's okay to be disappointed.
Jefferson, nobody open, still seeking a receiver, lobs it downfield, and Haas got behind everybody. The play they needed. 2-point play from the 8-yard line now. Jefferson to the end zone. Doesn't matter. It's Haas.
Because success hasn't come around often for this year's Razorbacks.
Alabama stacks the box, bring pressure. Jefferson in trouble. Hit by Arnold. Jefferson won't go down though. He gets out of there and he dumps the ball off. It's caught inside the 20-yard line and all the way down to the 10.
Still,
the thing I love about this team, we're not going to bend.
Even in these darkest of days,
you just have to work and play extremely hard.
They aren't giving up.
We stay together, we come together as a brotherhood, and we just keep playing Arkansas football.
For now,
we have a bye week, so that gives us a chance to rethink and think of the things that we need to fix.
The Hogs are taking a week to rest. Once that's finished,
we can't keep beating a dead horse. We have to do something different. We got to give our kids a chance to win.
Maybe
it's just time for us to get back to work.
Just maybe.
We got a pretty good football team. We just got to figure out how to play good team football.
They can turn the season around.
Live, local, late breaking. This is 4029 News at 5.
Police say a student brought a BB gun to a Fort Smith elementary school.
Coming up here at 5, the message from police to parents to help prevent more of these situations.
Then an I-49 expansion project is moving forward, why some say it will help more than just drive times.
And Trump's former national security advisor's home was raided, why he thinks it may be politically motivated. And we begin this evening with a look at the weather with Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee.
All right, Darby, we're headed for another hot weekend here, but there is some relief at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, at least for some of us in northwest Arkansas in particular. In the River Valley, it'll take a little longer for that cooler air to start pushing on in. But that front's on the way for the weekend. Out ahead of it, we're still warm. In the River Valley, hanging on to mid-90s out there right now, mostly around 90 in northwest Arkansas. A lot of sunshine, humidity's not too bad. Tomorrow's basically going to be a repeat of today. Maybe a touch warmer in the afternoon, highs in the low 90s tomorrow in northwest Arkansas, waking up in mid to upper 60s. But not a bad day. And in the River Valley, pretty good day for us too, on the whole. Just kind of hot, right? Kind of like today. A little bit hotter than average with highs eventually back in the mid 90s. Now, there will be a small chance for a shower or storm this weekend as the front moves through. And a little bit of a drop in temperatures for northwest Arkansas again on Sunday, less so in the River Valley. The big drop in temperatures comes in early next week, and that's when our next best chance of widespread rain arrives. We're going to talk more about both of those, LaKyra and Chip, coming up.
Darby, thank you. A scary situation at a Fort Smith elementary school today. Police say a student brought what looked like a real gun onto campus.
4029's Abner Sosa has more on what happened and the warning for parents.
The chief says the student brought what turned out to be a BB gun here at Kavanaugh Elementary School, but officers say that it was nearly identical to a real handgun and it caused real concern for both staff and students.
Chief Eric Huber says the toy weapon was reported and the situation was handled quickly. He did not go into specifics about what happened with the student. However, he stresses that even a fake gun can create panic and put everyone at risk. The chief says it's a reminder that what kids bring to school matters and the consequences can be serious.
We want the parents to please check the students' backpacks and know what they're bringing to school. Have conversations with your student at home. Even if a student believes it's a toy, the consequences can be very serious. There could be disciplinary action up to expulsion from school, up to legal action.
The chief says student safety is the top priority and it takes both parents and the schools to work together to prevent situations like this. In Fort Smith, I'm Abner Sosa, 4029 News.
A Sebastian County special prosecuting attorney says a deadly shooting in Lavaca was in self-defense.
So Richard Jones was shot and killed during a confrontation with a man on July 10th. The shooter claimed Jones was a threat. Authorities say 3 witnesses verified his claim.
Now, in a statement, Jones' family says they are disappointed there were no charges filed and plan to file a wrongful death lawsuit.
Well, now to the groundbreaking ceremony of the bridge that will take I-49 over the Arkansas River. The project starts near Highway 22 in Barling, and then the new stretch of interstate will go all the way up to where the interstate currently connects with I-40 in Alma. One state representative says the project will boost the local economy.
More customers, more people, more sales tax revenue, more people moving into this area, more people moving into the state, and more people being able to get to and from Canada, New Orleans, with us right smack dab in the middle.
So he says the bridge will be finished in the next 3 to 4 years. The spillway gate at Dardanelle Lock and Dam is now closed. The gate controls how much water is released from the dam. Crews had been working since Tuesday morning to repair the gate after it got stuck in the open position. Arkansas's nuclear power plant was alerted since it sources its water 10 miles upstream from the dam.
Well, the fall semester just started, but already University of Arkansas students are having problems with parking. We've learned the university sold more permits than it has parking spots. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from students and tell you what the university is doing to fight the problem.
President Trump is escalating his crime crackdown in D.C.
So the National Guard troops who are patrolling the streets will now carry firearms. Today, the president is also upping his threats to expand the effort to other cities.
Christopher Salas is at the White House with the latest.
President Trump this week has repeated that he'd like to see this effort to root out crime and homelessness in our nation's capital, also in other cities. Today, he was specific about where he'd like to go next.
We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come.
The governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, fired back on social media, saying people are not begging for an authoritarian power grab. President Trump has also mentioned Baltimore, Memphis, Oakland, and Los Angeles when discussing his efforts here in D.C. Today, he touted putting the D.C. Police Department under federal control and sending in hundreds of federal agents from multiple agencies, along with nearly 2,000 National Guard troops from D.C. and 6 states to patrol the streets around the clock here in our nation's capital. And we're learning that those troops will now be armed. In a statement from the Pentagon, they say, at the direction of the Secretary of Defense, the troops will soon carry their service-issued weapons. The president today dismissed polling from the Washington Post that shows a majority of residents here in our nation's capital disapprove of the deployment of federal troops. At the White House, I'm Christopher Salas.
Today, the FBI searched the home of former National Security Advisor John Bolton. It was a court-authorized search.
So Bolton served during President Trump's first term, but is now seen as a political adversary after repeatedly criticizing the president and publishing a book about his dealings with world leaders. The Trump Justice Department launched an investigation into whether Bolton mishandled classified documents while he was writing his book. Bolton has previously denied those allegations.
Do you fear at all you could be prosecuted? Look, under Donald Trump, no regular rules here apply. But I am confident that there's no national security information, no classified information in the book.
And President Trump says he knew nothing about searches until they were happening.
Lyle Menendez is now making his case via video before a California parole board. It comes just a day after his younger brother Eric was denied parole.
As ABC's Alex Stone reports, the brothers are serving 50 years to life for murdering their parents at their Beverly Hills home in 1989.
No decision yet on parole for Lyle Menendez a day after his brother Eric was denied. A nearly 10-hour parole board meeting ending with commissioners returning quickly. Eric Menendez denied parole. He can try again in 3 years. A crushing defeat for Eric Menendez and for the 18 family members who spoke at the hearing pushing for his release. His aunt telling the board Eric is a sweet, gentle soul and asked for forgiveness. In their denial of parole, the board noting Eric's murder of their mother, burglaries he committed before the murders, and his repeated use of illegal cell phones he obtained in prison. Menendez addressed the parole board via video link, telling the members of the board, quote, "Fear was driving me to that den," end quote, as he described years of sexual abuse by their father. Asked why he killed his mother, Eric said he felt betrayed because she knew about the abuse. Telling the board, quote, "I saw my mother and my father as one person after I learned that she knew. So when I was running into the den, I was in a state of terror, of panic, of rage." Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman, who opposes the brothers' release, saying in a statement, quote, "The board correctly determined that Eric Menendez's actions speak louder than words." Now it's Lyle's turn to try to convince the board that he deserves to get out of prison.
With the Lyle parole hearing, I doubt the parole board is going to do anything different. My opinion is that the parole board is going to treat the brothers exactly the same way.
With a denial of parole for Eric Menendez, now Menendez family attorneys are hoping to convince a judge he can get a whole new trial or for clemency from Governor Gavin Newsom. Alex Stone, ABC News, San Diego.
Now to the state capitol, where there's growing criticism for a newly enacted law in Arkansas that allows for executions by nitrogen gas. Religious leaders from around the state rallied together to speak out against the law and the death penalty altogether. Yesterday, 7 faith leaders protested at the old Supreme Court floor at the state capitol. Those leaders wrote a letter to Governor Sarah Sanders saying this new method of execution is, quote, torture and strictly inhumane for the 23 inmates currently on death row in Arkansas. Death row inmates have challenged the law in court.
A pair of ATM burglaries are now under investigation in Oklahoma. Police say the thieves hit a bank in Oklahoma City, then another one in Moore.
Yeah, then hours later, more police found the truck they think was involved in the neighborhood close to the crime. Police say the truck was stolen.
So the truck had chains on the back with bits of the ATM in the yard. At this point, police have made no arrests.
We're working with Oklahoma City Police, and we have detectives on scene trying to figure out how we can correlate this information and what is connected to what. We do know that there were several ATMs also hit in Oklahoma City as well.
And more in Oklahoma City, police say that they're working together on this case.
A United Nations-backed initiative says that parts of Gaza are experiencing famine, part of a report by the Integrated Food Security Phase classification.
So it concludes that famine will worsen in the Gaza governorate, including Gaza City, the site of a major new Israeli offensive. During nearly 2 years of war, Israel has at times restricted or cut off the entry of aid to Gaza. Some people have died of starvation and hunger. Others have been killed trying to get aid at distribution sites run by the controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
It is a famine. The Gaza famine. It is a famine that we could have prevented if we had been allowed. Yet food stacks up at borders because of systematic obstruction by Israel.
So Kogod, the Israeli agency responsible for distributing aid into Gaza, rejected the IPC's report ahead of its release. They say the report is based on what it claims is partial biased data and superficial information originating from Hamas.
It was a strong day on Wall Street today.
After the break, a warning from the Federal Reserve Chair about the future.
Where you can see the Swing Dance Club intermediate time has just started. The group also has a beginner class in about 15 minutes, starting at 7 and ending at 8. After that, there will be a social dance from 8 to 8:30. Excuse me. You can come here, or you can come either by yourself or with a partner, and no previous experience is required. They also go to outside dancing events together. And I have Amber Comer here, who is the president of the club. Amber, what got you involved here?
So I actually had a friend from another group invite me, and I came here, fell in love with the people, fell in love with the dance, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And the club keeps going until 8:30 tonight, where they have a social dance. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Jeffery Johnson. Yeah, I'm at the Alumni House, where people registered in Washington County students registered in Washington County can vote. Voting opens in the morning at 8. It ends at 6 in the afternoon. Those who are voting at the Alumni House or any polling station need to bring a form of photo ID. This can include a student ID, Arkansas driver's license, or a passport. I spoke with the first-time voter who says having a polling station on campus made voting a lot easier.
I'm glad that I voted early because instead of going in on election day, and having these long lines, just going in, quickly checking in, getting my ballot, and then checking off who I wanted to vote for, it was pretty easy.
2, 1.
There's also free parking in lot 200 next to the Alumni House for those who are voting. You must be registered to vote in Washington County to vote at the Alumni House. And voting here will be continuing until Wednesday. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Jeffery Johnson.
After months of campaigning and the general election last week, the Fayetteville mayoral race is down to the final 2 candidates, incumbent Lionel Jordan, an executive director of the city's Advertising and Promotion Commission and CEO of Experience Fayetteville, Molly Ron. In last week's election, Mayor Jordan got 47% of the vote and Ron got 37%. Tom Terminella got 12% of the vote, while Adam Firecat got 4%. According to Arkansas law, to win an election, a mayoral candidate must get over 50% of the vote, or win 40% of the vote and be 20% over this person in second place. Since Mayor Jordan only got 10% more votes, a runoff election was triggered. Molly Ron has lived in Fayetteville for 19 years, and all of her kids are either currently attending Fayetteville Public Schools or have graduated from Fayetteville High School. Her company, Experience Fayetteville, is a website to advertise Fayetteville and its businesses to tourists of the area. Mayor Lionel Jordan is a well-known name in the area. He has been serving in Fayetteville government for over 20 years and has been mayor since 2008. Before his time in office, he got his undergraduate degree from the U of A, becoming a carpenter with the University Department of Facilities for 26 years. Both Ron and Jordan have put an emphasis on housing during their campaign.
This city is meeting the national issue with some local solutions. One of those is permit-ready programming. This will expedite construction for builders and lower costs for buyers.
I am glad that we have a housing crisis task force. I am glad that the city council members took that leadership to be able to establish that. I don't think, though, that we need a task force to tell us that we have more people and not enough houses, so we need to build more of them.